All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We are back. It's Friday. It's the Friday edition. It's your boy Ham. I got my guy BJ with me. We're here to break down all 7 games over on the DraftKings slate. Looking forward to it. It's been a busy week professionally. It's been a busy week in these DFS streets. We've been rocking and rolling over here at the Nation. But want to give my man BJ the floor. BJ, how was your week? I know you were busy as well. What's going on, man? Happy Friday.
Yeah, man. Happy Friday. Excited to be back in front of the computer, dialed in all day to a DFS slate. Like you said, busy with stuff going on. And that's definitely a leak of my game, playing when you shouldn't and playing every night, even though you're busy. But we're dialed in today. Excited to get some of those dollars back that we might have lost the last couple of nights. For me personally, but really think this slate is straightforward is the wrong word, but I think I'm going to be dialed in on a few spots and letting go in some of the chalk.
Yeah, should be a good slate. We'll break down all the injury news. We'll break down every game. And my man Gang Green, me and my boy BJ were chopping it up backstage before the show. You got to wait. You go to a show, you go to a Broadway show. They don't come out right at the time. You got to let people get their seats, let them get in. Got to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then we're rocking and rolling. And if you haven't heard, we'd hit 9,000 subscribers earlier in the week. We did a big giveaway, and lo and behold, my man Marquee Sports won a free 6 months over here at SHIPIT Nation for us hitting 9,000 subscribers. Marquee, we certainly appreciate you. Always in here, no matter what the show, MLB, NBA, NFL show. Appreciate you, Marquee Sports. Appreciate everybody out there. It is the usual cast of characters. Got my guy Parabé's in here. Sean Sullivan with another showdown. I think it was a showdown takedown last night for $3K, $2.5K, something like that. Awesome, Sean. Keep on crushing. Wins a lot's in here. Nate D with the beers. He's drinking early. My guy Wardo always in here. Biggest New York Knickerbocker fan out there that I know. Go Collect is in there. The main man, Hebrew Cheetah. William, what's going on? Desmond, how you doing, my man? Gang Green, Kid Lightning, Ian, Big Chops, Bubbles, Lyle. Oh, the list goes on and on. Michael is in here. No safety meeting for me. Stash is back. I'm trying to keep up with my boy Hebrew. Hey, Hebrew showed me up. Hebrew gets it thick. He gets it in there. I had to see if I could one-up him because he's not on the show. It'll be gone when Hebrew comes back on Monday. But, yeah, we had to do it. Just do us a favor real quick. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We want to give out some plays of the day. At the end of the day, we'll get up to, 300 watchers during the live show. But, yeah, certainly do that. I think that's it. Let's dive in, BJ. What do you say? Anything else before we get rocking and rolling?
No, man, I missed the days with safety meetings. Baseball season's definitely a safety meeting type thing. You can get all your weird stacks and kind of going on, but and shut the computer early, right? No late news. But NBA, man, different beast. So like Sean said, I can't keep the stash. I can't compete with you guys. No safety meeting, got to be dialed in. Like Rio says, once Showdown's posted, then you can safety meeting it up.
BJ, if you can't tell, he's only 17 years old, so he can't grow. He's so young. He's a young buck over there.
Bro, I shaved like 2 weeks ago. Look at this. Come on.
BJ's too young, man. Old man Ham grows that stash fast, but should be a great one. Appreciate everyone tuning in today. Want to give you a little sneak peek of the site over here. You can see everything that we got. We got the Shiptimizer. We got NFL, obviously. We got college football. Man, we just crush it in college football. I saw back-to-back winners last week, but we're here to focus on NBA. We can get projections, Showdown, the Stone that we're going to go over. BJ, myself, and Hebrew do a core report every single night. And then we got the slate plan that is just straight gold. I'm not going to give you all the goods today, but my man Hebrew Cheetah over there on the slate plan 5 days a week. BJ does a day, and I do a day as well. But we're going to get into the Stone. I've done enough talking. I want to switch screens on them real quick. Let me get over to the Stone where I can see it. There we go. You should be able to see my screen. We're back at it. Magic first game taking on the Joel Embiid-less 76ers. My guy Jared McCain been balling. He's slowing down a little bit. Price coming down as well, but still no Banchero. Franz Wagner's been balling. And shout out to you. Shout out to Hebrew as well. Real quick is we had that late news the other night with the injury or the center for the Magic missing, and both you and Hebrew were in the chat prior to lock, just talking up Mo Wagner. So, yeah, shout out to you guys. But talk to me about this game, Magic at the 76ers.
Yeah, no, I love the slate. Hate this game, man. 206.5 is what my calculations add to. It's 207 now, but so it's going up. Ugly stuff, man. I mean, the Sixers are like dead last in pace or second to last in pace. The Magic aren't far behind. Additionally, the Magic are, up there in like first in points, allowed as far as defensive goes and third in defensive rating. So we'll talk through a few things in this game, but this is going to rank near a game that I don't want to touch tonight. Open up my boy Franz at 95, averaging 47 DraftKings points a game since Banchero's out, which is unbelievable. I saw a stat. I don't know if it was Hebrew in the slate plan. Shout out to that. But, we have, he's driving 15 times a game, some crazy number like that. Don't like the matchup. Don't like the total. Don't like the pace. But I also don't hate, just playing Franz at 95, a little safety there. Jalen Suggs next at 6,500. Haven't been looking at him very much at all season, or recently. During the start of the season, he was pretty effective. But this is just one of those games where it's like, hey, I don't mind some of these guys, priced at 65. I think we saw him near 7K a few weeks ago. Don't mind it, but I don't love the game. And then just to make matters worse for the Magic side, I mean, you take Wendell, you take Goga, you take Isaac, you take Mo Wagner. It's kind of like a throwing darts, if you will. Like one game, one goes off. Like Goga's been playing well, and Wagner's been playing well off the bench, but that doesn't mean that you can't go Wendell and you can't go Jonathan Isaac, who got a minutes uptick at 4K. For me, as far as the Magic side goes, I have to be completely off. I'll throw out a KCP mention. I just, he's 4,100. We like him obviously in the mid 3Ks, but he's always capable of hitting shots. And a couple of slates, he's had the opportunity to kind of score some points and help some people out. But that's pretty much it. Magic side, pretty ugly. Anything under 210, no thanks. Going over to the Sixers side, I guess it's really just Paul George for me. I mean, with Drummond questionable and Embiid out, I mean, that's going to open up Yabu, but he's 6K, so that's pretty gross. We had a lot of fun rostering him, as well as, the entire industry at sub 4K, but 6K is going to be too much. Going back to Paul George at 6,700, I mean, coming off 51 DraftKings points, he went 10 for 16 in that game. I joked with Rio, I think it was on the Tuesday show, I hate watching him play, but when he hits shots and you have him on your roster, he might be one of the most fun guys because you just know he's not going to pass. So I'll highlight him. Kelly Oubre at 5,400. I mean, I don't mind it. He 5,400. He's been getting an uptick in minutes. But you're so dependent on him to hit shots, especially at that price tag. It's going to be a no for me. And if Drummond is out, you would anticipate KJ Martin sliding in the starting lineup at 3,900. And he's kind of like, I wrote down like value. I mean, if nothing crazy pops up. But I think stuff does, and he's getting his mid to upper 20 minutes. But all in all, I kind of rambled on too much about this game, in my opinion. I hate it, and the total's ugly, so let me know if I missed anything.
Nah, very ugly. Never PG-13, except the other night when he dropped like 57 on my face on FanDuel. And so I can't play PG-13, but hey, he did it nice the other night. I'm with you. Yeah, the other games to like. We'll move on to the next one. Steven, no one said it better than you. Appreciate you always being in here, Steven. Pressing that like button feels so good. It helps BJ and I out a ton over here. Make sure you're doing that as you're watching. Next game up, we had the Lakers. Lakers haven't won, seems like forever. They've been playing just atrocious defense. Down in Miami was bad. The game before that, they got blown out. I forget who it was off the top of my head. Taking on the Hawks should be a pretty good game. I got a ton of interest in this game. Interested to hear who you like. But talk to me about this game. Looks like AD and LeBron. Well, they're both, I think, are questionable probably, but we'll say they're both in. And I think the Hawks have everybody. Trae Young's in. Everybody that we want to play is in. So talk to me a little about this game. Much better game, in my opinion, than the first.
Yeah, absolutely. So AD's probable and LeBron's questionable from what I saw. I assume he plays. Don't forget about Bronny. Bronny's questionable tonight too. So I have him highlighted here. Really quick note, he's selling like tons of jerseys. So I can talk all the trash I want. But, I think it was Matt Barnes on his podcast. I don't know what it's called. But he's talking about, man, dude, you get some guaranteed money if he's talking trash, but it's all about making money, baby. And he's selling a lot of jerseys. So,
I think his podcast is the Douchebag Podcast. Is the name of his podcast.
Well, I stopped listening. We don't talk about. I stopped listening to that once they got a little too political for me. So I don't really, once I did that, I just shut it off in the middle. But they do have some funny NBA stories, so that's always fun to listen.
I bet you Matt Barnes has some great stories, and not just about Fish's old lady either, but I bet
that was the best one, bro. You ever listen to that in full? That story's crazy.
Was it? Hold on, no. D Fish was trying to date his ex-wife, is what it was. Yeah,
I don't think he was trying. It was going on. So, he was calling with the kids in the car and all that stuff. And anyways, that'd be
let's get back to Lakers at Hawks. I sorry, I got you sidetracked.
No, you're good. Reeves is out. I think you went through that. So this is really interesting because, like, the Hawks are second in pace and like 27th in points or 28th in points allowed. And then when you go to Lakers, they're like bottom in 3 points allowed, points, defensive rating. And we only see a 221.5 total. When I see those stats, I was kind of thinking it's more like the 230 range. So it's a little interesting. But I'll highlight this with what Hebrew talked about. I believe it was in the Discord. I couldn't agree more. Going to our guy, Dyson Daniels, the Great Barrier Reef, whatever his nickname is, with, averaging all those stocks. I think he gets D-Russ tonight. Couldn't agree more. I saw it. I'm like, that makes so much sense. He gets D-Russ tonight. We'll lead off with him at 5,400. He's been chalky since being in the starting lineup. This is not a spot where I want to get on that chalk. I don't know. Like I said, we're waiting for some ownership stuff. But I'm not going to get into it. It feels like it's tough to ignore when he's getting his 30 minutes, especially in the type of game that the Hawks could play. But no, thank you at 5,400. If LeBron somehow misses, throw in Westside Connect at 4,700. But he's kind of been, pretty expensive to play, not as far as price, but as far as ownership goes. Hasn't been producing very well. I know I'm going to make you throw up in your mouth a little bit, but Rui at 49. So my take on it here is the Lakers have been bad. ESPN releases the article, should LeBron get traded and finish his career somewhere else, all that BS. Well, at the start of the season, it was productive when they ran the offense right through AD, right? And now he's not scoring. The offense doesn't feel great. I think this could be a spot where you kind of get AD going a little bit. And when that offense ran through AD to start the season, Rui was playing fantastic. I think it's going to be more of him being open on the 3-point line. But I don't mind that as kind of like a, not sneaky, but kind of a different look, right? Everybody's going to go to D-Rush. Everybody's going to go to Connect, right? And everybody's watched Rui not play as well. So I might be intrigued to play Rui at sub 5K. Over the last couple of games, I've been playing bad. He hasn't taken a ton of threes. I think we kind of get him back to that 5-6 threes a game. And I don't mind that. As far as LeBron and AD go, AD's one of my favorite plays on the slate tonight for the reason of, hey, love the matchup, as well as I think they're going to try and work that offense back through AD a little bit more. Obviously, LeBron isn't shooting well. I mean, I don't know, what is it, 4 games? He didn't hit a 3 or something crazy like that. I think he hit one last time out, might have hit 2. But, at 96, we want to get that upside on 7 games where, not only is the person we're paying just sub 10K for, but, he's scoring, right? And yes, he can triple-double, but we want to see those triple-doubles that he's scoring in the 20s and in the 30s. And as of right now, he's not going to fall in line for me. Going to the Hawks side, Trae Young at 91, no thanks. I mean, like, he obviously profiles well when you see the statistics for the Lakers and being at home in a good up and down spot. But it's his Achilles thing, right? I mean, I think he was 0 for 9 last game versus Milwaukee. Not scoring, same kind of thing, right? I'm going to pay 9K for somebody. Not only do I need points or assists and rebounds, I'm going to need points. That's going to lead me to Jalen Johnson at 85. I mean, like, as you could just play him every night. He has upside. He doesn't kill you. Even in his bad nights, he's still getting you right around 40, right to paying off that tag where he doesn't absolutely tank your lineups. So he's going to headline for me. Before we get to Hunter and Bogdan, it's going to be Capella at 54, back-to-back games at 34 and 38 DraftKings points. If you look down his entire game log, it's like 9-10 games, taking away one game where he scored 19 points versus Cleveland. But he's destroying value on his tag. So, for 2 weeks to 3 weeks, before this run that he's had, we've been so focused on kind of splitting the ownership between why am I drawing his blank? What's the guy off the bench? Jeez.
You talking about Hunter? Who are you talking about?
No. I'm talking about Capella. Okongwu, my bad.
Yeah.
So for the longest time we would go split, in ownership between the both of them. But recently Capella just taken that over. So I don't mind him at 54. I know you got AD on the other side, but I don't mind that at 54. And then to talk about Bogdan and Hunter, I think those guys are very close to each other. I think the way that Bogdan plays at 4,700, I'd rather lean him, but I also don't mind Hunter at 5K.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I don't hate the Rui call. You said I'd throw up in my mouth. I don't hate that. And I like your reasoning why you like that, right? He was, keep going back to that first game of the season for whatever reason when they were going through AD, playing the T-Wolves. And Rui, I think, had the first 3 of the season, first couple buckets, finished like 20. But I don't hate the Rui. And then Jalen Johnson, getting a lot of love for Jalen Johnson in the chat as well. And Hebrew wrote him up pretty nicely too in the slate plan. Showing sub 10% ownership. Would love that. And I don't know what's going on with Trae Young. Yeah, I think that's a mystery to everybody, but excellent breakdown there, BJ. Moving on to the next game, and what should be another great game, in my opinion. 8-point spread. You got no Kristaps tonight. I think Jason Tatum should be back tonight. You're going to have Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Jrue Holiday in the lineup. Bucks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're healthy. When I say that, I know they have Giannis. I know they have Dame time, but if they're missing anybody, let me know.
No, Middleton's going to play, I think.
Middleton's going to play. Yeah, he's been out all season. Is this his first game back?
I believe it's his first game back, with the ankle stuff. So
yeah. So I would assume he's going to see limited minutes, and at 6,600, he's kind of pricey. But talk to me a little bit about this game, Bucks at the Celtics. It is a nationally televised game tonight.
Yeah, no, it's weird because I agree with everything you said. I think you can throw a Q tag on Prince, but he's really irrelevant to the whole thing. The Bucks, I mean, you can definitely make a case for Giannis, 12K. No Porzingis on the other side, national televised game. But this is going to be a not for me type game. And I think it's when they schedule these games to start the season, you're circling this. You're like, this is going to be a great game. Friday night, ESPN. But not for me. All these prices are pretty fair, in my opinion. Like when you throw Middleton back in the mix, I know he'll get limited minutes, but obviously can't touch him. Dame at 94, he's been playing outstanding, but I'm really nervous to see, how this offense shakes out. Even if Middleton just gets like 20 minutes tonight, I think that price tag is too high. I don't want to play Brook Lopez in this matchup at 62. Giannis at 12K, I just want to like kind of take a wait and see approach. I know to win, money in this type of game, you want to be ahead of some of those. But at 12K, I'm going to lean to different spots. I like AD a lot more for a discount. And then as we get going later in the slate, we'll see some other guys, that are going to eat up that power forward / center spot. So not a spot for me tonight with Giannis. On the nights like that, he seems to seemingly crush every time. So if you're going to play him and I'm off him, congratulations to your W tonight. But I won't be finding it tonight. And same kind of goes for the Celtics side. I mean, like Tatum at 10K feels like, we kind of hit like the floor of his pricing. Milwaukee gives up some threes. Shout out to Rio for talking about that as well. 10K after getting the night off. I don't mind that. But we start looking down and it's like, like Pritchard's at 58 and D White's price is down a little bit, but you got Horford back, Holiday back. Jaylen Brown's price is up at 86. I could see two avenues here. I could see like an ugly game and the Celtics don't play well and the Bucks get to stay in it. But in that type of game, I don't see them like running back and forth and like Celtics hitting threes and the Bucks staying in the game. Then the other avenue would be, hey, the Celtics just kind of run him out of the building at an 8-point total. I know we don't talk about bets, but I kind of want to get on the Celtics at 8 or 8.5. But I don't know. I think everybody in this game, the prices are really fair. I mean, tell me if anybody sticks out to you, but I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I'll play Jason Tatum at 10K, but I don't want to get to Brown in the upper 8Ks. I don't want to get to White at 71 with Holiday back. I know like he'll get to shoot extra threes tonight, and he's been playing really well. But you're really dependent on his shot to fall. And then going back to the other side, Dame at 94, Giannis at 12K with Middleton back. I think all of it's just a little too much for me.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. What about, I don't think you mentioned Peyton Pritchard. Double-digit threes in 5 straight games. Porzingis is missing. I personally like it when 2 of the 5 are missing, right? Porzingis and one other, obviously, or Brown and Tatum or something like that. But he shot double digit. Like I said, 5 straight times. Hauser had a big night the other night. Now I know they were missing, more guys then, and he was starting. But any Peyton love tonight, playing 30+ minutes. I think you or Rio on your show on Tuesday, said they want to get him the 6th man of the year. So he's going to be a sub, but play starter minutes for him to get the award. So what about Peyton?
Yeah, no. First of all, Rio was all over that. I believe it was like the first game of the first show of the season, and he was all over him at 6th man of the year. So we got to go back and find that clip and make sure that's all clipped up for when he wins the award. But no, I love it, and I love rostering him, right? Especially when he's shooting the amount that he is. But 5,800 just feels so steep. I mean, like when you start looking around, I mean, it's not a good comparison because I'm not going to play Io, and I'll get to that in the next game. But he's 5,700. Right. And they have the same position, both point guard and shooting guard. So for me, no, I think, obviously, yes, he's shooting, but all it takes for him is not hit as many shots as he is. And that 8 or 5.8 price tag, it's pretty hard to meet value or break value.
So real quick, I know we haven't gotten to Io yet, but Io versus Pritchard, where are you going there?
Dude, that's so hard because I'm not playing either one of them, right? And I was going to get to that there. Io coming off, his season high in rebounds and assists. I mean, if I had to pick, I guess it's Io, but I'm reluctantly, picking somebody of those two groupings.
Yeah, and just if anyone's out there wondering if first-time lookers at the Stone, Josh Giddey is not averaging 621 minutes per game. If so, that would be a record. We're updating that as we go. So this is just a template. We are going to update that. These are some astronomical numbers that these guys are playing.
Yeah, that's NBA in 2040 when defense really isn't a thing.
we know we're going to fix it on the back end. We got our guys working on it now. But Io brings me into the next game. You got the Trae Young. He's the Iceman, right? Well, you got a new Iceman. His name is Pascal Siakam. He has been ice cold over the last several games, taking on this Bulls team. Look at this total. Look at this total, BJ. Why would you play that first game with the Magic when you have a 245-point total on the slate? The new Iceman, Pascal, going into Chicago, where I'm sure it's ice cold there too. So talk to me a little bit about this game. Pacers with my boy Tyrese going up against these Bulls. Talk about the injuries. I know Levine's questionable. Vooch is on the second night of a back-to-back. So talk to me a little about the injuries in this matchup.
Yeah, we Nemhard's questionable, Shepard's out, Ball's questionable, White's questionable, Patrick Williams is out, Buzelis is questionable, and then Giddey's probable. But before we dive into the game, a fun bet that I think I've never seen anything like this, but a fun bet would be: does this game score more than the total of the Magic game through 3 quarters? I think it definitely can compete. What is it, 207, right? That's like, both get into the hundreds through 3 quarters. I could see that with like a halftime score of like 71-65, and then you're really sweating. But so this is the interesting game, right? Because everybody's going to want to play it. Like you said, it's almost 250, right? It's unbelievable. It's like a 10-year-old all-star game, total that we have here. And rightfully so. I mean, Bulls are, last in points allowed in this of the NBA. They rank first in pace. The Pacers are like top 5. They're 7th in pace. My bad. But real interesting because, we're in Chicago. The Bulls played last night in San Antonio. And to go through some of these minutes, Vooch played 35. Levine played 33. Giddey played 24. Io went off in 35 minutes with a triple-double, with his rebounding and assists, season high. 67.5 DraftKings points, if I'm not mistaken. Horton Tucker got 21 minutes. They're going to be popular, rightfully so. I don't want to go through and nitpick too much, but Io's going to kind of be off my list today. His price is approaching the 6K markers. I don't think he gets close to his rebounds and assists that he's had. And what's the ownership we have on him before we updated here? He's 10. It'll be way higher than that in my opinion. So that will go up. But I'm not finding much love. I mean, like Kobe White's back. You can get behind him a little bit. Giddey played well. I think it was 2 times out ago. But I'm looking to get off of the Bulls side just for ownership stuff. I know the total's crazy and I could be way wrong. And this could be a game where you just play like 3 of the Bulls, right? But Vooch is going to be my favorite at 84. And then I don't mind. Like, I know there's going to be tons of builds out there where you like go like Io and Vooch with like one of White, Giddey, and Levine. I don't hate it, but I'm not going to go there today. I'm going to be all over this Pacer side. Going back to the well with Halliburton, I think this is just a smash spot for him. 8,300. He's just the worst roster in the world to watch, and he just feels like he doesn't get there. But then he explodes for these huge games. But yeah, 8,300. He's going to rank out as one of my favorites. Going back to your Iceman Siakam, he's been playing bad, and his price is up. So that's interesting. But I think all these guys obviously get the boost because of the matchup with the Bulls, and then get the additional boost with the Vegas total. So I don't mind anybody. I'm going to take Nembhard out of my builds. I think he got 18 minutes in his game back. I don't have it written down here, but I think it was like 18 or 19 minutes in his first game back. But yeah, no, just to reiterate, Halliburton will probably be my favorite, followed by Turner. You can get behind Mathurin at 68. And then coming off the bench, I mean, TJ at 47 and Toppin at 36. Toppin's numbers have been in the last 24, 14, 22, and 25 minutes, followed up with 28, 30, 29, and 11 DraftKings points. I think, at 3,600, you just put him in your roster and eat chalk. Like I said, this ownership number will go up, but love that. And, I don't mind TJ McConnell. He feels like he doesn't have a ton of upside at 4,700, but this is a 250 total against the Bulls. So I like him. I like all 6 of the Pacers that you can roster, but I am going to be very cautious of the Bulls side just because what ownership will become as we get closer to lock. And then obviously them playing last night in San Antonio and flying to Chicago.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. This game is has a lot going on in the chat. William, I don't know. Jalen Smith revenge game and maybe some reduced minutes for Vooch. Jalen Smith, you did not mention him, backup center for the Bulls. I don't have any interest in him. I didn't, until you said that, I forgot he played with them last year. So, but he might be mad that they let him go or whatever the case may be. So any love for my boy Jalen Smith in a revenge game tonight?
No, I mean, I can't really side on if we know if we're going to get, a drop in minutes for Vooch, and I'd rather go there. I mean, yeah, he's 3,300 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but he hadn't played more than 20 minutes all season.
Yeah, but he produces so well, fantasy point per minute. I think if it was a smaller slate, absolutely a 3-4, maybe even a 5 game. We start talking 7 games with a couple of really good game environments. I don't think you can get there. I mean, yeah. Sprinkle a couple lineups if you're making 150 or whatever it may be, but not going to be a spot for me. I like the idea though. I really do. Yeah, and then to Sean's point, Miles Turner, yeah, what is he? 6,700 if I'm not mistaken. Offers a great floor. He could see some extra rebounds tonight, with his pace going, so up and back. We're going to see more shot attempts, which lead to obviously more misses and more rebound opportunities. So yeah, I don't mind that. Rio's in the chat, say play Halliburton and Turner, and then just keep moving on, baby.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. My guy says, my guy Wardo, love Wardo, big New York Knicks guy. He's talking about don't play Halliburton, he's cheeks. Hey, that's a perfect segue into the next game. We have Chris Paul and the San Antonio Spurs taking on the Sacramento Queens. De'Aaron Fox, the cover boy, Domantas Sabonis. Hey, you want to talk about cheeks? There's nobody better than CP3. Talk to me a little about this game. Kings at the Spurs. You must like CP3. You're shaking your head over there.
No, I don't. I think it's funny. I actually despise CP3. I can't stand him. Every time I think about him, getting a technical foul. I don't remember who they're playing, but getting this technical
Foster.
foul.
What's his Foster probably teed him up. Scott Foster.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I was thinking the other way.
Oh, the Suns.
Where he's at. I forget who it was, but entered the game and their shirt was untucked, and he's like, shirt's untucked. He got a tech. But yeah, no, I love watching CPV against Foster. Tee him up. I don't know what his career totals are, but that's got to be the leading player he's ever.
Obviously the big news in this one, I think Wemby's not going to play. Vassell has already been listed as out, but Fox is back. Monk has been in the starting lineup. DeRozan, Sabonis, like I said, the cover boy. Kings should handle this one, especially if Wemby's gone. But talk to me about this game. I do have some interest in one of the Spurs, but talk to me about this game, Kings at the Spurs.
Yeah. Wemby's doubtful, assuming that he's out. I made the mistake of playing Bassey last time. He had 13 minutes versus Zach Collins, 23 minutes. But really the real story was don't mess with the Sohan, man. He came in, he played 36 minutes, took 14 shots, 16 points, 14 rebounds in place of that center spot. to steal real one more time. I won't steal any more from the show, but he's, a 1.25 fantasy points per minute. If he plays his mid 30 minutes playing at center, I mean, this is just a smash spot for him. And really the only other guy that I can get behind here as one of my plays that I can get behind is going to be Castle. Castle's, love roster name. He's been real solid. Now you get with Vassell out 4,800, load him up. We could see him in low 30 minutes tonight. So I really like that spot for him. But that's pretty much it. That's with the anticipation that, Wemby's out, which is what I believe is going to happen. Obviously, if Wemby's in at 10-5, you can play him anytime. But I'd rather go the route of hoping that he's out and playing Castle and Sohan at 61 and 48. So those are really like my highlight plays here. I can get behind, Zach Collins, I guess, at 5K. Don't love it. Like I said, the last game with Wemby out, he played 23 minutes. But I think there's other spots you can go to. And I'm really going to like the center spot tonight. Just with AD and luckily they moved Sohan back to power forward. But jumping over to the Kings side, the other center that I like on the slate is, the cover boy. Like you said, a couple weeks ago, never fade the cover boy. 9,300 for Sabonis. In the 2 games versus San Antonio this season, that's 51 and 48. I think this is just a great spot. I don't want to, with DeRozan back, I can't get behind Fox at 9K. Monk, kudos to him getting his price tag up to 7K. I think that's a touch too much for me. I guess between Fox, Monk, and DeRozan, I would get behind DeRozan at 7,400 if I had to pick one, but not really a fan of playing any 3 of those guys. For me, it's going to be load up Sabonis. Keegan Murray at 7,100. I've already bet him under 12.5 points for tonight with all the pieces back and Monk playing well. So I'm on him unders tonight. Playing big minutes, but, just not really scoring the ball and hitting shots like we like to see. And that's pretty much it for me in this game. I love Castle. I love Sohan, but I can't get behind anybody except for Sabonis on the Kings side.
Yeah, I think if Wemby were to miss, I think Sabonis is in a real nice spot going up against, like you said, the Collins and my boy Chuck Bassey. So I really like Sabonis were he to miss.
But how about this? My bad to interrupt. If Wemby plays, how much do you dock Sabonis there? Is it a huge dump or no?
Yeah, I mean, at 9.3, he's expensive, right? So you're going to make some big decisions. But if Wemby's in, I think that for me, it's going to lower him a lot. I mean, the dude's 5, 6, however, whatever he is, and he just takes up space, gets rebounds, does blocks. So yeah, I would probably not play Sabonis if Wemby was in. But I definitely would play him without him, going up against Collins and Bassey.
Love it.
And Ross, I love you to death, bud, but CP3, I don't know what he wins at. Maybe State Farm commercials, but 0. I almost called it a Lombardi trophy. 0 trophy, so I don't know what he wins. Anyway,
but no, it's funny. Yeah, going back, just the Foster thing is great, and it's like a big thing. Really quick before we move on, I know we're running out of time, but my one of my friends, his buddy his dad refed in the NBA for 25 years, and actually refed the Malice at the Palace, so you can do your homework and figure out who it is. But they all hate CP. They hate him. He's all in everything. He's in everybody's mess, and I think they hate him because he's so technical and knows the rules just like everybody else. But can't stand CP3.
Yeah. No, that's funny. Appreciate all 300 in here watching the show. Make sure you're hitting that like. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. We certainly appreciate it. Over here, not many games left to do it. 2 games left to talk about. We're going to give out some plays of the day. Next up on the docket is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. 3 games left. No, 2 games left. Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Warriors. Curry is going to be in tonight. Wiggins, I believe, is going to be in. Draymond Green is going to be in. Should be a pretty good, real-life game. I don't know about for DFS purposes, but you see the spread on the screen. We're showing Minnesota 1-point favorite, 218-point total. Talk to me a little bit about this game, Timberwolves at Golden State.
Yeah, like you said, Green and Curry, they're going to play. Wiggins got the questionable tag. Peyton's probable. It's just weird. Like, I think I brought this up. Maybe it might have been last week. I just don't play Timberwolves. Like, I just don't play people in the game or, who they're playing against. And it's worked out, well this season. I just haven't had very many nights where T-Wolves have beat me. But Golden State, one of the best defenses in the league, running a big rotation, and it might change a little bit with Wiggins if he was to miss. But Ant, he sub 9K, so I can get behind some Ant. He shows upside and going for 50 in like 3 straight games, and he comes back with 3 stinkers at 34, 24, and 38. So he's not a comfortable roster, versus a good defense and the platoon of the Warriors, if you will. But the price that really is interesting to me is Julius Randle at 7,300. Like, it's not sexy. You don't love it, but I mean, this is like an 8K player that, now we get to see at 7,300. He just is one of those plays that seems too cheap and you want to play him just because the price tag. I think his floor is high enough where he doesn't destroy your lineups. So I'm going to have some real interest at Randle or with Randle as we get closer to lock, but not have to play him type thing, just kind of a note that he's cheap. So if you want to, kind of squeeze him in some stuff, I don't mind that. Same goes for Naz Reid at 49. I could definitely see him with flashing upside, not necessarily with this matchup, but just in general at a sub 5K tag. So I don't mind him, if you're making a handful of lineups. And then our boy NAW, he's getting his mid to high 20s in minutes in the last 4. He's gone 32, 31, 21, 20. At 4,100, if we don't have any, crazy value, I don't mind him as kind of a value piece or last man in, but don't love it. And then same goes for the Warriors. The Wolves, they're like 3rd in defensive rating and near the bottom of the league in pace. And this just doesn't feel like a spot. Curry's price is up. We talked about rostering Curry, he was at the bottom of the 9K range and 8-9. I think I got down to 8-7 one night, but I can't get behind him at 9,700. I'd rather spend that money and go LeBron or a few extra $100 and go, AD. And guys like, Looney, Pods, Wiggins, they all got big minutes, with Curry out, but all their price tags are pretty fair. No, thank you. I can get behind a little Looney at 4,200. He's been producing well, back-to-back games in the mid 20 minutes. But I really just don't love anything in this game, and to finish, to throw that in, Kuminga played well as well with no Curry. So I don't know, man. I don't want to sit here and talk about a game and be like, fade the game, but I can't really find anybody else beside a couple of cheap value pieces that I would feel comfortable rostering.
Yeah, you nailed this one on the head. Never Curry, man. That guy, man, never on the winner. I think I say that every time I'm on a show, but that's worse than a Patrick Mahomes play. Don't play Stephen Curry at that price. And then, Randall and Draymond getting in a fight. Josh,
who do you have in that, by the way? Where's the action going?
Who am I taking in that fight?
Yeah.
I'm taking Randall. That guy just looks at me. He scares me just looking at him. I think Draymond's fake tough, but I think Julius Randle has been there, done that. That's just my take, but that wouldn't surprise me. Randall would be a good play. I'm always on Ant. I love Ant. He hadn't had a true blow up game at that price. I think there's other places to go, but I'm with you, more of a pass than anything. This next game though, we'll have some interesting pieces based on the defenses that are playing in it. Jazz taking on the Trailblazers. We talked about some of the centers that are going to be missing for the Blazers, have been for quite some time, but you do have Ayton at his back. But Jazz plus 2.5 headed into Portland to take on the Trailblazers. Talk to me a little bit about this game and the guards you have interest in for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, so we'll start with the Jazz side. You hit it, when you introduced the game, but both teams are just bad at defense and like to run. So, how much fun is this going to be? Let's start off too with some of these discounts and prices. Laurie 7K, John Collins has been flirting around this exact price, but he feels a little too cheap for the matchup at 7-2. And then Walker Kessler have been playing, really well since coming back from injury. I believe it's 4 straight double-doubles, if I'm not mistaken, at 6,300. So those are going to be my main highlights from the Jazz. When we get into the Sexton and the George stuff, obviously I think it's always George over Sexton, especially when there's a price discrepancy. And George hasn't been playing great, so I don't anticipate the field running to go roster him. But yeah, for me, from the Jazz side, it's going to be never Sexton for me. Anything above 5,700, I don't want to touch. And then okay on George at 59. We could just see one of these games where he actually scores and he spikes and destroys his tag. Recently hasn't really been showing the scoring upside, so I'm going to kind of take the wait and see approach there. And the field's going to be all over Laurie at 7K today, and rightfully so. But I think my kind of, when I'm making rosters, I'm going to look to see, obviously, one of these three guys, I think, versus the Trailblazers, is going to be able to destroy a tag. I think I would rate them Collins, Kessler, Laurie, and that's going to be majority because, we've talked about usage for Marketing. It's been coming up, over the last couple of nights, but, he scored like 25, real life points in an X amount of games straight and had under 25% usage. Like I said, he's taken a few more of those shots, but I just feel more inclined to play Collins and Kessler. But I don't mind the idea tonight of getting if you're making multiple, if you're setting rules, I really don't mind getting at least one Trailblazer and then taking 2 of 3 of Marketing, Collins, and Kessler. My rank is going to go Collins, Kessler, Marketing. And then jumping over to the Trailblazer side, Scoot, obviously Rob Williams is out, Klingen's out. Scoot's questionable tonight. I don't really have a real lean if he plays or not. I just know I want to play another center at 6,800 in DeAndre Ayton. I think he gets his mid 30 minutes and, he's going to produce well versus the Jazz. I think it was Tuesday. I asked Rio that, obviously the Jazz are really bad versus center. Kessler did miss some time with that. But I think they're still bad at defending the center. So I'm all over Ayton at 6,800. And then, after that, it's Simons and Grant for me. I mean, Grant's down to 5,700. Simons has showed upside. I have it here. He's, 49, 44, and 42. At a $6,600 price tag, he shows the upside of getting 250. Now you add in a matchup versus the Jazz. I absolutely love it. Same kind of goes for Grant. He's over 30 DraftKings points in 3 out of his last 4. And the one game he only got 21 minutes. It was a blowout versus Memphis, I believe it was. So I don't mind him at a sub 6K price tag. But those are going to be my favorite plays for the Blazers. As far as Sharp goes, Kamara goes, even Banton off the bench if Scoot's out. I think if Scoot's out, I'll rank Banton obviously higher at 4,600. But Sharp, Kamara, and him are all going to be okay, yes, I can roster him. More for me as a last guy in, but I really like the 3 in Simons, Grant, and Ayton. And then additionally, if you're making a ton of lineups, I don't mind the idea of maybe, somehow Ayton gets into some foul trouble. I don't mind a little Jabari Walker off the bench at 3,500.
Yeah, Ayton versus Kessler. Baddest wants to know.
I think it's Ayton, but it's so close, especially with the discount to Kessler. I'm so inclined just to say take your money and play Kessler, but I mean that's going to fall into the 6 of my favorite center plays tonight. I want to try and find the hack where you get multiple or obviously more than 2 centers on DraftKings, but I think it's going to be Ayton because I think he gets 35 minutes tonight.
Yeah, and then I think Simon's in a smash spot. You do too. Gang Green was asking about Kessler. You touched on him a little bit. Answer, what's going on, my man? Appreciate you tuning in. As always, look at those guns on that guy. Just looking great in that pic. Appreciate you tuning in.
Is that his real picture?
I don't know. I hope so.
Is that you? You got to let us know. I don't know. The screen's too small.
Yes, the screen's small. Answer's good-looking man. If that's him, I don't want to see him in a back alley somewhere. Been lifting those weights.
I need his arm day recipe too.
Yeah. Over 300 in here watching. Only 75 likes. That's kind of hurtful. I was not good in math, but I can do quick math. 25% of you. Just take a second, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We certainly appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, that's me. Oh, Answer. Come on now. I got a bodyguard now. Next time you come to Nashville, I need a bodyguard. Appreciate you tuning in. If you aren't a member over here at the Nation, head on over. We still have this Black Friday deal. I talked to Hoop, talked to Tambo. They said, hey, you know what? We're going to keep running it for a little bit. BF50, get you 50% off your first month, or if you want football for the rest of the season with a SHIPIT, it's $129. Would love to have you over here at the Nation. I did a little I got in the SHIPIT while you were talking, BJ, and I ran the optimal. Guess who's in the optimal right now for us on FanDuel? It's my boy. It's my boy CP3. So I may be wrong. So they may be on to something. Maybe a CP3 kind of night. He's gonna burn us. I know, and the people will come in and talk trash to us next Friday, and rightfully so. If that's the case, all right. So we're not gonna give a play of the day today. Don't have enough likes, but I want to give an off the wall because I have an off the wall kind of bet I'm gonna make. But give me an off the wall kind of thing. And if you want me to go first, kind of let you know where my head's at, then you can kind of piggyback off that.
You go first. Let me think about it.
All right. So my kind of off the wall, I got two off the wall. One, Halliburton, 60 plus fantasy points tonight. That's number one. Number two, Demonis Sabonis plus 750 to get a triple double. No Wemby. I think Sabonis gets busy tonight. Guaranteed double double. I think he might mess around and get a triple double, though. I'm going to be betting 750, 7.5. Hey, Sabonis triple double is my off the wall call of the night.
I love that. Damn, dude, because you hit all those bets that you throw out, whether it's the 8+3s on that. So I absolutely love that. Hot take stuff. I mean, geez. I mean, my hot take that I will say would be one, there's not a bull on the winner, like in the feature. Like I'm not on that. I don't think there's any bull. And then additionally to like double down and parlay that, I think the Pacers and Bulls game produces more points in the first 3 quarters of the game than the entire game for the Magic Sixers.
I got you. All right, hold on. Timeout. We got to pour one out for my guy Sean V. Hey, we know Sean V. Left us too early, and he's always throwing out those narratives. Appreciate. I think it was Gang Green or someone mentioned it first, but we got a Giannis narrative, an old Sean V. Memorial Giannis birthday narrative in the house. I know Jake knows Sean V. pretty well. Gang Green does too. But, man, miss Sean V and his takes. I hate to see it that he's gone. But changing your mind on Giannis, you were kind of shitting on Giannis earlier. But 12K birthday narrative, going to get him a 50-piece, go to Chick-fil-A, get that 50 burger the next day. I mean, any change in your mind, or you're not?
No, I don't think so. I think it checks all the boxes, though, right? Like ESPN, Friday night, he gets the Celtics. Every game for this point kind of matters, right? I don't look at records much, but when I look like last week, they were like 500. Not going to change it, but I get it. So I won't be on that. And I'm waiting for Nades. I don't think Nades is in the chat today, but the ultra tilt moment was like last week in the Discord. I don't know. I think it might've been Saturday, but like I'm sweating money cuts at all my tournaments, and Giannis, I faded him and goes for like 78. And like in the last game, like I'm chugging along and I don't end up getting there on some pretty big swings. And he was like, "Oh, I can't fade the GOAT, just ultra tilting, dude." So I think I'm going to be in that boat again, and can't wait for Nades to hit me with the can't fade the best or the greatest, whatever he said in the chat today.
Find you someone that loves Giannis as much as Newens and Nades. I don't think there's a combo that loves Giannis better than him. Jordan Love, the list keeps going on and on. Ryan Braun, you name them, they love him up there. Hey, if Sabonis goes for a triple-double, make sure you tune into this show next Friday. We're going to do a huge giveaway if that is the case. I appreciate all 350 of you tuning in. We certainly appreciated talking this slate with you. Love to have you over at the Nation. BJ and myself will be on the Showdown slate and the slate plan all weekend. But for my guy BJ, I'm Ham. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there, and let's ship it.